What's up, yo? Welcome back. 80 Fitness Live at noon.
Yes,
every
at
Sunday,
noon.
12 o'clock Eastern time. So, welcome back. This is our first shot at 12. We'll
Yes.
see what happens. Today, we're talking about how to get hyped up, psyched up.
Woo!
The best proven techniques to use. They've been out for years now. People have been using them forever. High athletes, high level athletes use these techniques.
Yes.
So believe me, when you want to get hyped up, there are ways to do it.
All right. Well, let's start by talking about what does it mean to get hyped up or psyched up? Like, what is the actual definition of that?
Hey, Kylie.
So the definition of getting hyped up is really a self-directed, means like you are internally using various cognitive strategies designed to enhance your physical performance. So again, you're using cognitive strategies to enhance physical performance.
Right. So let me put it in English for you. Use the techniques in your mind to make you physically go all out.
Yeah. So why is that important?
I mean, every top level athlete tries to push the limits. If you're not psyching yourself up, you're not mentally prepared, you're physically going to fail.
Yeah.
Your body follows your mind.
Absolutely. I mean, I would say that like anytime you're working out, it's almost 80% mental, 40% physical. It has everything to do with your mindset. And if you don't believe that, then I definitely go look and talk to some professional athletes out there, and they'll tell you that that's 100% correct.
Just go to Planet Fitness. Look around the gym. You'll see the ones with the right mindset.
Yeah.
And you will see the ones with the wrong mindset.
Right.
It's very distinctive and very easy to pick out.
Yeah. When you're feeling excited, you're feeling motivated, when you go in and hit your workout, you're just naturally going to perform better and you're going to reap more benefits post-workout with having that mindset than if you go in there kind of with the wrong motivations and things.
If you walk into the gym saying this sucks, I hate working out, then you already lost.
Absolutely. I know when we were getting ready for this topic and doing some of the research, I was looking into some of the sports psychology journals, and there's actually a lot on this with cognitive strategies and psyching up, and how reliably can you associate that with increased strength or performance. And I was actually surprised because a lot of times there was like 61% to 65% of it could be attributed to just having that mindset and using those cognitive strategies to improve performance. So
did you hear that number?
60%.
That's more than half.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a big deal.
Put a star right there. That is more than half.
Yeah. I mean, when you pump up yourself before the workout, you really walk in there more confident, you're more agile, you're more driven. I mean, you are ready to get down to business and make those gains and that progress. So it definitely matters. All right. So strategies. Let's talk about different strategies that people use, including ourselves. In my opinion, probably the number one best strategy is using visualization. What do you think?
It's a proven technique. It's been around for years. I took some sports psychology 20 years ago, and it was out back then. I mean, Mike Mentzer even has it in his book back in the 70s.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the lifts I'm doing the day before.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with that lift. And I'm visualizing myself making that lift that I've never made before that complete day, all day long.
Yeah.
I'm visualizing it the day before I do it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. And even if you're not doing it the day before, I would say like 10, 15 minutes before you go into the gym, just sit down and really think about what are your objectives for that day, that lift. What are you going into the gym to accomplish? And really visualize and picture yourself doing it. So that's kind of what we mean when we're talking about visualization.
Absolutely. And it should be something you've never done before. If you've done it before, you don't need to visualize it. You've done it.
Yeah.
This is stuff you have not done before. So before I did my 550-pound deadlift, I did what Mike Mentzer did. I visualized myself lifting it the entire day before I did it. And I was so hyped up that morning, I couldn't wait to get in there.
Yeah, it's actually proven if you look into some of the scientific journals that when you visualize your muscles performing the lift, you are actually able to activate them and you're able to really reap the benefits from that motor learning that goes on.
Motor recruitment.
Yeah, absolutely. So you might not be doing the lift, but your body is mentally priming those muscles. You are sending those signals to the muscles saying, hey guys, you're getting ready to do this work.
Yeah.
So
This isn't just bodybuilding. Every sport does this.
Absolutely.
Every top level athlete in the NFL, they're watching films, they're going over it. Guys are visualizing the plays the day before the game.
Absolutely.
Believe me, every top level athlete does these things.
Yeah, definitely. I know when I'm getting ready for a show, one of the things I have to do is like a 60-second choreographed routine to music of my choosing. And so usually before I go and actually start physically doing the routine, I'm actually running through it in my mind, the poses. And then when it comes time to walk out and do it, I can just snap right into those poses because I've mentally like walked through every aspect, what needs to flex, what needs to come together. So yeah, I personally do that myself as well.
Same. Before competition, I'll put my pose of music in my car and listen to it on the way to
Over and
work
over and over again.
and the way back from work every single day and visualize the routine. That way, when you go to physically do it, you just run it through it mentally. Boom, hit it. Boom, because I've already done it 700 times in the car. So now it's time to really go do it. You just hit it.
Yeah, a lot of times with the visualization, I really have to use this one on my leg day. If I'm going in and I'm going to try to PR on deadlifts, I really try to sit, like as I'm wrapping up my knees, putting my belt on, I'm really trying to picture myself walking over to that bar. Like, what is the load going to feel like in my legs, in my glutes, in my back? I'm just mentally kind of wrapping my mind around what I need to be prepared for.
Absolutely.
All right. So again, I think that's my number one. So
visualization's your number one?
I think that one's my number one.
All right.
All right.
Let's go back. We got 10, 15 minutes, sit quietly. So for me personally, I don't have time for that crap. I get on the bike and warm up for 10 minutes. I put my music on. I get in the zone.
Yeah.
I plan the workout. It's already planned, but I go through it again in my head. That's how I start my workouts. Start the hype.
Nice. This is a good way to start for sure.
Yep.
All right. So I think another important strategy you can do is just checking your stats. So, by now we are big believers in keeping that log book, that record of like where you're at, how you're progressing. So
listen, you can't visualize what you're going to lift if you don't know what you're going to lift.
That's true.
What are you visualizing? I'm looking at my book the day before, right. 2 days before. I know what number I have to lift. That's part of the hype up.
Yeah.
If you just slapping weights on, well, it might be more than I did before, but it might not.
I mean, I like to use it to call myself out. If I know, like last time I hit 110 pounds on chest press, well, I know there's no way I'm going in there and either hitting less reps or less weight. So right there, I'm mentally getting myself prepped for that heavy lift and to go harder than I went before.
Yeah, before I started tracking, I used to say arm day was easy, shoulder day was easy.
It's not easy.
Once you start tracking, none of them are easy. And if they are easy, you're doing it wrong.
So yeah, that right there, I think gets you hyped up, especially when you're looking at that book and you start to see that, you're able to do more weights, more reps. Like that right there creates hype that you need to go really hard.
Agreed.
All right. Other ones. What about music, James? What do you think about that?
I'm a big fan of music. It is actually one of the reasons I work out because I love to listen to music and I listen to music while I work out. So I get two of my favorite things at one time. But it's got to be hype up music,
No slow jams?
I don't care the genre, but it's got to be angry, fast, and hyped up. It can be 80s. Rock,
he
rap.
Does like the 80s, y'all.
I love the 80s. Country, classic rock. I don't care the genre. As long as it's fast, upbeat, and angry. Now, cardio, I can do some dance music, but I can't do that while I'm lifting. That's not angry enough. I need angry music.
Yeah, I mean, I like pretty much like anything fast-paced that's got a good like beat to it, gets me motivated. But for sure, I know sometimes when James and I are lifting out in our studio, we have the music running through our Bluetooth speaker, but if we want to film it with our phones, like it cuts it off and like I can definitely tell my performance is impacted when it's dead silent out there, no music versus like the music's blasted. So
Yes.
yeah, definitely crank it up. Tell, whoever's in the gym, stop talking to you because you got to put your headphones back in to hit that lift.
Yes. And you're 100% correct. Go to the gym and cut the music off real quick. It's a completely different atmosphere. You need your music. Well, you don't need it. You should have music.
I mean, it's definitely different too when like your bestie's sitting there talking to you and you're sitting there hitting your bicep curls. You're not going to go as hard. So, you got to say, hey, sorry, I got to get this lift. We'll talk on my break kind of thing. Well, speaking of the bestie, what about training partners?
They can help or hurt.
Yeah.
Like definitely. You just said, if they're talking your ear off while you're trying to get hype, hit the road, Jack.
Hit the road, Jack.
There's a guy I'm not even going to call him out. There's a guy at one of the gyms we work out at. He's a good dude, but he just doesn't know when to stop. And all he wants to do is make you laugh while you're lifting. And I'm like, no, brother.
You're laughing while you're lifting. You're going to lose tension.
Listen, brother, you can do that with everybody else, but don't bring that stuff around me. I'm not trying to laugh while I'm lifting. I'm trying to focus. I'm trying to get gains. I'm trying to get it done. And again, he's not a bad guy. It's just something he doesn't get.
Yeah.
Just try to make you laugh and talk, and he does it to everybody.
Well, it's some people's social environment. They're not there to necessarily reap performance gains.
And he's all geeked up on pre-workout.
Hey, Mr. Traveler,
hey,
Robin.
Hey.
Hope you're having a good weekend. Same goes for personal trainers. I say communicate with your personal trainer. Talk to them about how you like to get hyped up.
Yep.
So I have some clients, they love it when you're just sitting there like, come on, get it, lift that weight. And you're like all in their face. And then others are like, whoa. Like they hate it. They just want like right before the lift of you to be like, you got this, you can do this. Like, you're doing a good job. So
there's, I see two techniques people use, inward or outward.
Mm-hmm.
Inward, they're closing their eyes.
Right.
They're visualizing. They're focusing. Outward, they're beating their chest. They're screaming. They got their workout buddy smacking them around. I've seen it all. I've seen it both. We've seen the Ronnie Coleman video where his workout partner's behind smacking around his back. Oh, let's go. Get it on. But there's two different ways, and it seems like they're black and white. There's gray. The people that don't like getting yelled at do not like getting yelled at.
Yeah, so if you have your buddy, you yourself or a coach, definitely ask the person like, hey, how can I best get you psyched up for this routine? Because if you do the wrong thing, you're going to mess up their workout there.
And if you are training a client who internalizes, let them close their eyes, give them as much time as they need to hype themselves up, especially when it's a max lift, a PR,
Yeah. All right, I got another one for you, and I love this one. Sometimes just watching like adrenaline boosting movies like gets me going. Like, I don't know if you guys have watched Rocky, 300, or even just Pumping Iron. But every time I watch one of those, it's like, James, we need to go right out to the gym right now and get these lifts in.
Vikings. Yeah.
Vikings. Yeah. Definitely. So that helps.
Yeah. And I know guys that will even watch motivational videos in between their sets.
Absolutely.
On their phone. They got it cranking on their earphones while they're getting,
I swear, like when the Viking show came out, there was like a couple lines from that movie and James would just say it over and over again. I'd be like, stop. But hey, that's what got him psyched up. So that was awesome.
Yes.
Definitely. So kind of along that same line, sometimes just looking at pictures or people you admire helps motivate you. So I don't know, like if you're a Bumstead fan, maybe looking through his Instagram before you go lift, say, hey, like I aspire to be like this person. That can keep you motivated.
Sure.
Sometimes it's even pictures of yourself. So I'll have clients that, have competed. They'll pull up that stage picture of themselves from last year and say, I want to beat this look. I want to be better than I was yesterday kind of thing.
Absolutely. And I personally am a very competitive person.
Oh, yeah.
Extremely competitive. So when I'm getting ready for competition, I always try to find who's going to be in that competition so I can look at them to hype myself up. And if I can find their social media, I'm looking at the weights they're using. And then I'm going to go in and do more weight than what they're lifting because I'm that competitive. If I'm not getting ready for a competition, usually I keep it in the gym here. whoever the strong guys are, I'm like, you're not stronger than me. Whatever it is, let me get your Instagram up. Okay, got it. See what you lift. All right, I'm gonna beat it.
I'm kind of similar. So I'll go as far as to like, look who did the show that I want to do last year and who was like, number 2, 3, 4, and I'll print out their pictures on the refrigerator. And it's funny because I remember this one time someone came over and they're like, oh, like, who's that on the refrigerator? Your family? And I'm like, oh no, like this is last year's competition. Like I got it. So, whatever, all day I'm looking at that person like, you're the one I have to be. I need to outwork everyone. And for me, that's what worked. Kind of silly, but that's okay. I mean, that's the whole point. Like some of these cognitive techniques can be silly, but if that's what works for you, then go ahead and get it in.
Yes. And if you have to look somebody up to do it, do that.
Yeah.
There's only one guy at my gym who's around the same strength. One. So I will go and look on social or somebody I don't even know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm gonna beat this guy.
So kind of, since we're talking about that, there are different strategies that can be perceived as positive and maybe some that can be perceived as negative. So what's your thought on that, James?
So I use anger mostly to hype myself up. I rarely go negative, barely. I don't think I've ever gone negative to hype myself up. I know a lot of people that do it, but I'm not one of them. I use the anger and I'm better than you and I'm going to beat you. That's my techniques.
Yeah.
The negative ones, they're useful. I know people that use them, but I don't like to beat myself up before I go try to live.
So I'm kind of one of those people that I will do that sometimes. Like I am very, very performance driven, like in every aspect of my life. Like I want to do well and perform the best. So anytime someone comes to me and kind of challenges that, or I'm challenging that for myself, it really motivates me to put in the extra effort and kind of achieve that level I didn't think was possible. So I definitely have times where I'm just like, they don't expect me to be able to hit this weight. I'm going to go in and hit this weight.
Prove them all wrong.
Yeah, prove them all wrong kind of strategy. And that works for me.
That's kind of angry.
But yeah, so.
That's a positive thing. I'm going to go in there and beat them. That's not negative. Give me a negative example.
I don't know if I have one. I'm not good enough to do this lift. But again, that's kind of like not beating yourself up, but reverse psychology, I guess, is the technique that I use on myself a lot. Other things, you have to provide stimulus. So, use pre-workout. I mean, it's the best technique for getting hype. If you're walking in that gym like uncaffeinated, I don't know.
You talk to anybody that says, and I don't hang out with these people much, but they're at work. There are a lot of them at work. I hate working out. Okay. Did you try pre-workout? No. Did you have music on when you worked out? No. Did you have a plan when you went in there to work out? No. Well, I would hate it too.
Yeah, that sounds horrible.
What the heck are you doing? You're doing it all wrong. No wonder you hate it.
Yeah, so that's not really a cognitive strategy to hype yourself up, but just a side note, like let's make sure have the right stimuluses and stimuli in place.
You're talking about max lifts with elite athletes.
Yeah.
They're all using pre-workout. The oldest pre-workout in the book is called coffee. 20 years ago, it was not uncommon for people to walk in with a giant cup of coffee and they're hammered during their workout. That was not uncommon.
Yeah.
So use it to your advantage. Everybody does it. Why wouldn't you?
Exactly.
And it's proven to help.
Definitely. So one other thing too, some people ask, is there any drawbacks to really psyching yourself up? And, I would say that there's a couple. Like sometimes if you're going in and you're doing those big lifts, you can hype yourself up so much that you end up doing weights that you probably shouldn't. Maybe you're not ready to do, or you get a little sloppy in the execution, which can lead to injury. So always lift smart, even though you're hyping yourself up. Mm-hmm. The other thing is that it's taxing on your nervous system too. 100%. I mean, you are going to definitely fatigue yourself and you need to be aware of that.
Yeah. The famous video, Ronnie Coleman front squatting 800 pounds. When he was in an interview, 20 years later, they asked him, you could have done this again. You could have got more reps. Why didn't you go? And he said, you are 100% correct. I could have got more reps. But in order for me to do another set, I'd have to hype myself up again to the point where I did it the first time, and it's not possible for me to do that. He couldn't mentally hype himself up to do it again because it's so taxing just to get yourself in that mindset.
Absolutely. In fact, usually after a leg day, James and I call it leg day hangover, because just I'm fatigued on all levels. It's not even just a physical thing where my legs are sore. It's like I'm mentally fatigued too. Like I can tell I'm not firing on all cylinders. And I think it's just because of how much metabolic stress you created during that workout. So you definitely need to
100%.
recover. You're not going to go and psych yourself up for these heavy lifts, big lifts, like all day, every day.
No, you're not.
You will definitely end up overtrained. So those are just a couple of the, perhaps negative drawbacks or things that you need to be careful with.
Yep. Side note, I forgot, when you're internalizing or you have a client that's internalizing, getting hyped up, their eyes are closed, you're going to notice some things physically. Usually their heart rate speeds up, so their breathing speeds up. Their eyes might still be closed, but they're getting hyped, going, here we go, baby. I'm going to lift this weight. I'm getting it going. And so just some things. They might start sweating.
I've seen it all.
Even though they're internal, you're still going to see the external effects of that.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Well, those are the top strategies that we've either tried, seen people try, and are the most effective from our perspectives.
They're proven techniques. I mean, the people that don't believe in psychology or sports psychology aren't at the top level.
But yeah, I mean, just going back to where we started, these psych up strategies have been shown to have a 60% or more increase to sports performance. Just think about that. It's more than half. So it really has, it really goes to show you that mindset is everything, regardless of what you're doing physically.
Yeah. And I'm going to quote Menser one more time. It's nothing more than willpower.
Absolutely.
Your willpower is what moved that weight. Physically, yeah, but it starts up here.
Absolutely.
With your willpower saying, I'm going to lift this weight. I refuse to not get this lift today.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. I hope you enjoyed today's topic.
Get yourself hyped up.
That's right. All right. Well, this channel is here for you. So if you have other things you're interested in, I see there's a comment wanting to know more about cable crossover. So we're here for you. So drop us those comments. Let us know what questions you have on different things, and we'll absolutely either get back to you, make a video, but we are here for you.
We're here to help. So anything you guys want to see, just let us know. And remember, get yourself hyped up.
Woo! Yeah.